Okay, welcome on, ladies. Today we're going to be talking about 6 signs that your partner is emotionally available. Now, if you are a viewer of this channel, then you might be in an affair relationship and want to start noticing, okay, how can I bring availability into the relationship and also ask for availability from my partner? And the more available you become in yourself, the more you will attract availability in another. And if you have been following this channel for a while, then you may have been in a fair relationship. I always struggle on that word, in an affair relationship, or that sentence. You might have been in that relationship before and now have moved on, are healing, and are now dating again. And you want to set yourself up in the best way possible to date someone that is available and can fully show up and be present for you moving forward. So we're going to talk about the 6 signs of emotional availability. And while we're going through these signs, we're going to be pointing out them in ourselves and also our partners. Now, I just want to quickly share my own personal experience. And this might be very similar to yours. So I personally thought I was emotionally available. I have all these emotions. So does that not mean that I'm emotionally available? And not necessarily emotions that I expressed. I thought I was quite emotionally mature. But I had feelings. So I thought, and I had desires to connect, and I wanted a partner and all these things. And so I thought I was emotionally available. Now, what happened is I came into a beautiful relationship with someone who was ready to fully invest and give their all and devote themselves to me. And they were the most beautiful person in relationship. There's a quote that's a saying that is, you might meet a nice person, but them being good at relationship and being a nice person is 2 very different things. They might be an amazing friend, but in relationship not be not be the best pick of a partner. And so I met this person who was beautiful in relationship and really wanted to devote themselves in relationship and invest in relationship and grow together. And what I noticed is when they were fully showing up, ready to hear out my emotions, because I had been traumatized. And the word trauma, I guess it sounds like a pretty significant word, but we all as humans go through trauma experiences where our feelings, our heart, our safety has been hurt in little moments or in big moments. And so I had significant experiences where I was left hurt. And you two listening have by golly, probably most likely, and everyone goes through these experiences where we've been hurt before. And so when this person was present and had the capacity to hold my emotions for what I was feeling and to hear what I was thinking, I actually was blocked. I felt so unsafe in sharing what I was feeling because in the past, in romantic relationships, when I would share my truth, it would be pushed down. It would be too much. It would be needy. And so as soon as I came into contact with this beautiful soul, it was scary. And I noticed how many parts were unavailable in me to express emotions or where I stood with different things, simply because of the lack of safety that I had experienced in the past, not necessarily with this partner, but lack of safety in the past. And so safe relationships are a beautiful experience to notice where we are more guarded than we thought we were before, and to help us through taking our walls down that we might have built to protect ourselves in past relationships that weren't necessarily safe. And so today, when I go into the 6 signs, I might share a little bit of my own experience where I had been guarded and less emotionally available within myself. And life is a beautiful journey where we continue to learn, right? And so I continue to learn where can become more available to express and receive love. And I hope today that this video can support you in understanding signs where you might be guarded, or your partner might be guarded. So we'll go straight into them. The first one is they tell you how they feel. They can clearly express their needs in a relationship, their wants in a relationship, can clearly express, hey, hun, that action or that thing that you did actually really hurt me. And I was wondering in future if you could have a little bit more care or be a little bit more delicate or more respect around what you had done here, in honor of my feelings and being able to see me and my position in this experience. Simple things like this, they can clearly communicate, this impacted me emotionally, and ask for what they need in order for that to not happen again. Or not necessarily ask for you to change your actions, but ask so that you know how to support them next time in the future. We all want to know how we can support our partners better, but we can't necessarily support our partners if they don't know how they want to be supported. And so the same goes for you. Really understanding what actions your partner might do that hurts you. Now, in affair relationships, we're often met with a lack of safety where a person can hold or have the capacity to hold the emotions that you're feeling. This, if they have an incapacity to hold the emotions that you're feeling, it's not something wrong about you and the emotions that you're feeling that needs to stop. You don't need to stop expressing your emotions. What needs to happen is you need to move towards someone that has the capacity to hold your emotions. I want to make that really clear, because when we've been in relationships where we've been hurt before, then often we make ourselves wrong for feeling it. And that's why when I got into a safe relationship where my partner could fully feel and hold and hear me out in what I was feeling, even though they had the capacity to do that and they would prove it to me, every time a new emotion came up, the fear that they wouldn't be able to hold it and that I would be too much was very much present. And so, no, if you share something and it's come with deflection or pushing it back or rejection of your feelings or not being able to see and understand and hold your emotions as they are, and instead justify their actions, that's unsafe. Ask what you need in order to feel safe. I need you to be able to hear what I'm saying and to be able to receive that and to be able to understand where I'm coming from, as opposed to not hearing what I'm saying and share your point of view of why you acted in that way. It's really important for you to feel safe in expressing your feelings. If you don't, then you're going to shut yourself off, and then you are pushing yourself away from true intimate relationships. In order to have true intimacy, we have to have that emotional availability with each other. So that's number one. Number two is that put past relationships behind them. You'll notice energetically, I think we're pretty smart energetically, and it's just about how do we learn to trust that energetic side of ourselves so that we can trust the emotions or the feelings that come in towards, maybe their feelings towards another person. But we're pretty on point, I would say. And it's when we have been hurt before, we learn to not trust ourselves. And so we can't actually connect to that feeling anymore. But I would really encourage you, if you do feel like there's a part of them that is still open to past relationships, and that is a slow down kind of flag in they don't actually have the capacity to give them their all. The reason being, I want you to imagine a room, and you're in this room and your partner is in this room. Emotional availability, when they're fully invested in you, is they're closing that door behind. They are fully open to the connection of you and only you. Their eyes are closed to other people. But what happens is when they haven't actually processed their past relationships, then it's kind of like there's a door open in the room, and they have that way out. And not necessarily that they're going to go back to that past relationship, but energetically, their energy is being leaked out of the room and they can't actually give their all to you energetically. So it's really important to make sure that the person you're dating has actually the capacity to give their all to you and has finished processing. Well, we all continue to process different experiences at times. Sometimes little things bubble up, and that's okay. But generally, as a whole, they have finished processing their past relationships. Now, when we have dated a married man, so a pattern that comes up is that we then move on and fall into a relationship with someone that might be separated but still engaged in their past relationship, maybe because they have kids and everything like that. Again, it's really important to see, are they emotionally still involved in this relationship? They might be over their partner, not sexually involved, sick of their partner. But if they're sick of their partner and annoyed at their partner, they're still actually energetically involved in their partner. So it's really important to see, have they actually moved on from their past relationships, and do they have their capacity to give their all to me? Same goes for you. If you still think about your affair partner, I do encourage you to go through more months of healing to be able to process the affair relationship before you open yourself up to a partnership, so that you're coming into the partnership from a whole self, as opposed to a self that needs to feel a bucket of connection because of the disconnection that you've experienced with your affair partner. The next one is they don't run at the first sign of things getting hard. And I for sure noticed this in my, like, as I started to attract a healthy relationship, when things got hard, and I felt that the partner deserved more than myself, I then cut things off thinking, okay, in order to protect them, they shouldn't be with me, as opposed to allowing them to choose whether they wanted to invest in me. And what happened is I said, like, this has got to stop. I broke it off because I was like, they deserve. I was going through experiences where this safety and availability of this experience was bringing up a lot in me, and so it really got my nervous system activated in a fear response way because of how safe they were, and so I was feeling like they deserve someone that can be fully available and present and devote themselves in the way that they are devoting themselves to me. And so I broke it off so that they could go then and be able to attract that out in the world. Without, what I noticed is I was cutting and running before actually communicating that I had been feeling that way. And so what I should have been doing is saying, I feel these doubts. I feel that this, and this, and this, and to be able to process my feelings with them, and for them to then be able to choose whether they want to continue investing in me despite these things that were coming up, as opposed to me choosing what I feel is best for them. And so that was something that I noticed in me that was coming up. I for sure, like, when I entered a healthy partnership, all this stuff that hadn't yet come up before came to the surface, and a new level of learning unlocked for sure. So I would encourage to notice, like, when conflict comes or challenging times comes, or even your own fears or their fears, do they literally cut off the relationship as a way to solve the problem, or do they invite communication in so that you can talk through it together? It's a fear response. We've all been hurt through times, and so sometimes that fear response is just to, like, push away anything in order to protect yourself. That in itself is a sign of unavailability emotionally. And so I invite you to talk it through, access those emotions that are coming up before actually having to cut it off, or on his side before he has to cut it off. Okay, the next one is they are consistent with their words and their actions. And the one following that, which I might just go into as well, is you can feel safe. You can rely on them. You can trust them. When there's consistency, consistency builds trust. When there's words that are spoken and then they're followed through, you're not having to second guess and really think about what's going to unfold. Often, when there's a lack of safety, you're in your head a lot. When there's safety, you're not in your head, you're just doing life because you trust that they are there available for you. So, really notice if their actions and their words are lining up. Actions do very much speak louder than words. So, notice if there is a lack of trust there that builds safety, and often is because they're emotional. They are don't have the capacity to actually communicate how they're feeling, and so that builds a lack of trust. When someone can communicate their needs, then you have full trust in how they're feeling, because you know that they will come to you first before actually taking an action that is kind of sprung on you. And I for sure noticed when I was going through the early days of this experience of safety that I hadn't yet experienced before, I would often get to this conclusion without actually communicating it. And what I noticed is if I just communicated every little feeling, all the feelings that were coming up, even if I felt scared, it actually brought us closer together, because we really trusted each other to be able to navigate whatever comes up our way together, as opposed to just springing it on each other. And then the next one is you can have productive arguments and you can compromise with each other. Again, this is about communication. This is about communicating your needs in relationship and asking for what it is you need, what really hurts you. And again, on the other side, what really hurts them, what they need. And then coming to a healthy compromise. If it ends in arguments or you fear speaking your truth because of what they will say, that is a clear sign that there's a lack of safety on their behalf in the relationship. So again, I really, really encourage you, if you are feeling too much, too needy, all of that stuff, it's not necessarily that you are too much or too needy, and maybe more so that they have a lack of capacity to be able to hold your needs. Someone that is secure and has a secure attachment, if you have an insecure attachment, anxious, avoidant, everything like that, someone that has a secure attachment will build security in you. They will be able to say, hey, listen, this is where I'm at. This is what I need. I understand that you feel anxious. How about we support each other by doing this? How does that make you feel? And you will essentially build security in you because of their security that you're feeding into. Whereas if they're insecure, often that builds more insecurity in the both of you. So I hope that helps in signs of emotional availability or unavailability in your affair partner, or even dating after a unhealthy or toxic relationship, or even just a past relationship. We're always learning, we're always growing, and we're always unlocking new sides of ourselves that every partner in us is a mirror, and we get to see different parts of ourselves. So that's the fun of partnership and relationships. It can be challenging at times, but it definitely does teach us. So I hope that helps. Sending my love. Bye for now.